Hello everybody, my name is Brookie, and I mentioned this in my last video, link to the last video in the card in the top right of the screen right now, discussing the new killer and all the things about them. But today I said I was going to make a video regarding all the perks that the killer has right now. Now this is a bit of a problem in my opinion, and easily the largest issue I have with this killer is a massive lack of perk diversity. Now, some perks here are actually pretty okay, but a large majority of them don't work on Legion or are at least mediocre, and I want to go over why. So let's start off. I'm going to go through every single perk and tell you why. So, a Nurse's Calling. Fine perk in terms of healing people and people who are just trying to get better or trying to, fix their injured state. However, deep wound mending is not considered a healing action, so you can't see when people are mending their deep wound, and most survivors just end up not healing each other anymore with this, against this killer at least, which is why this isn't a very good idea. Agitation, it's fine. You're moving people. It doesn't really matter. Barbecue and chili, it's fine. It's great. Bitter murmur, it's bitter murmur. Nothing really changes there. However, lockers will make this a little bit more difficult. Blood Warden. Blood Warden will not do very hot because it takes a very long time to down somebody. Therefore, the ability to down them and hook them before they escape is significantly more difficult. Bloodhound ain't even that good. Let's not talk about Bloodhound. Actually, this is okay if you want to do a Moonwalk build, but that's meh. Brutal Strength is not very good either because normally you are vaulting pallets to begin with, and unless you're constantly sticking to your 110% movement speed, Brutal Strength really just won't assist you because you will be vaulting pallets, not breaking them. Clown Phobia, you generally don't have, one, a big terror radius, and two, having a large terror radius is very rare unless you're specifically going for a tracking build during stabs, and even then, again, they don't heal very often, so this is just not really useful. Distressing, this is okay if you want to do a larger tracking thing every time you hit somebody. However, a lot of times you can't even make it to the survivors that are that far away, and therefore all it is a detriment. Dying Light, you have to tunnel one survivor, and that becomes very difficult considering how hard it is to down them and how this character prefers you to be running around attacking other people. Franklin's is actually good because your ability to stab a ton of people really fast is very useful. Downside, it's Franklin's. It's gimmicky. Devour Hope, I would love to. However, Exposed Status Effect does not work on Frenzy, therefore it's not that great. Haunted Ground, Exposed Status Effect does not work. Again, not that great. Huntress's Lullaby, very difficult for you to hook people, therefore not very powerful either. Noed, once again, Exposed, doesn't really work out. Hex Ruin, it's Hex Ruin. It's fine. It's great. This is fine. The Third Seal. Now, this is the big exception. Hex the Third Seal is not a great perk, but is the best perk on Legion, because Legion will practically get all 4 survivors stabbed within a minute of the game. Therefore, they will all be blind, and it'll be significantly more difficult to deal with hooking or unhooking other people, fighting down people, anything in between. The Third Seal is without a doubt the best perk on Legion and one of the few killers that can actually utilize it correctly. However, it is a Hex and it will be destroyed. Insidious, why? Really, why? Iron Maiden would be great. You can't use Exposed with Frenzy. Once again, not very good. Lightborn, I guess. Mad Grit, not a good perk. Make your choice. Again, Exposed, can't use it, sucks. Monitor and Abuse, actually a good perk. Nice to surprise people at a low amount, but then when you're in the chase during your frenzy, you can see more people. This is actually a very good perk on the Legion. Not as powerful as it would be on Michael Myers, but still a pretty good perk. Monstrous Shrine, why would you ever? Overcharge, it's alright, it's overcharge, Play with your food, not good. The moment you would get a stack of movement speed, it's almost immediately used up stabbing somebody else during frenzy, and the whole point of it is gone. Pop Goes the Weasel, it's fine. Pop Goes the Weasel is a good perk. Rancor would be great. Unfortunately, once again, you can't use Exposed. Remember Me, not bad. The downside is that this might eventually have you stabbing the person a lot more often, and because of that, you will end up double stunning yourself very often, and it's also hard to down people at the end of the game anyway. Save the best for last. Now, a lot of people thought this was going to be a great one. However, I don't necessarily think so. Yes, you can rack up tokens very quickly, but the problem is you are going to be injuring everybody using Frenzy, which means the only time, and because Frenzy has such a fast recovery time for your stabs, the only time you will ever be able to legitimately get a actual hit off with not Frenzy will be to down somebody. And if you're downing somebody, you don't need faster successful hit cooldowns. You just don't need that. They're downed. Who cares? So save the best for last isn't that good. Next one, Shadowborn. Spies, why would you ever use this? Surveillance, lol meme. Territorial, no, not really. Thanatophobia. This is a perk that if it was better, would be godly on him. Unfortunately, it is a bad perk, and therefore is not that good. Will it help you a little bit? Yeah, but not a ton, and it does not affect or at least I don't think it affects the mending. It might affect the mending, but it's a very small difference in time, and really isn't that great. I mean, it's not awful on him, but the perk itself is awful, and that's the weird part. Tinkerer, horrible. You don't want 0 terror radius. Unrelenting, literally unusable. You have practically a 100% miss cooldown effect on your Frenzy to begin with. Whispers, it's Whispers. I mean, I guess you don't really need it, but if you want it. Bamboozle. A lot of people thought this would be great. It's okay. You don't really need the faster vaulting speed because you're already super fast. It doesn't make much of a difference. Blocking the area is nice. However, it will not block pallets if you vault a pallet, which really loses a lot of the fun with this perk. So I honestly just wouldn't take it. It's not required. Beast of Prey, not useful. Deerstalker, you can't down people. Disordinance, this is good, but this is good on literally everybody, so there's no downside to this. Enduring, you will very rarely be hit by pallets, so this is not a thing you really have to worry about, and you can bait out pallets anyway, so it's not too much of a problem, and it doesn't affect your stun time either when you look at your hand, so also not very good. Fire Up, it's bad, don't worry about it. Hangman's Trick, it doesn't really matter. Maybe it's good against Big Jesus over there, but Big Jesus is just, it's like a perk countering a perk. Thrill of the Hunt, it's okay. It helps you protect your perks, but that's all it does. Iron Grasp, no real reason. You're carrying people. Knockout, not bad, but you gotta be able to down them, and you really can't do that very easily. Overwhelming, you don't got a big terror radius. Predator, you can't see scratch marks during your power. Sloppy Butcher, this is probably a good perk on him. The downside is, again, this does not affect mending, and survivors just don't like to heal themselves when they fight Legion. It's not worth their time, and it's even doubly not worth their time with Sloppy Butcher, so there's no reason to run it. Spirit Fury, you really aren't destroying that many pallets with them. You're generally vaulting over them, so it's not that great, and you aren't getting hit by them too often, so it's also not that great. Strider, it's fine, I guess. It's Strider. And Unnerving, you don't have a giant terror radius, and you're running at people. They're not working on stuff to begin with. You see what I mean? That's all the perks. Really, if you want a good build on Legion, it's basically Ruin, Barbecue, Monitor and Abuse, and like the third seal. Maybe. And that's really your only options. Maybe you take Pop Goes the Weasel, maybe. Maybe you take Disordinance, maybe. Maybe Thanatophobia, but that's really it. And these two are Hex perks, so they die really fast. Barbecue is good on everybody. Ruin's good on everybody. This isn't specific to him. If you want to take perks that are specifically good on this character, your only options are like Franklin's and Sloppy Butcher, I guess? Maybe Thanatophobia. These 5 and Sloppy Butcher. Maybe Sloppy Butcher. And that's really all the perks that work extremely well with this character. This is why I really like characters like the Doctor and the Spirit, because when you run the Doctor, everything can be used. This counts as a heal, so Madness works with it. You know, every exposed status effect works fine. The Doctor likes big terror radiuses, so Unnerving Presence, Overwhelming Presence, Distressing, Monitor and Abuse, all these things work on him. all of these options work on him. You will probably destroy some pallets as the Doctor. So Brutal Strength is good. Enduring is good. Spirit Fury is good. Same thing with the Spirit. Changing up your tear radius adjusts when they can hear the phasing sound. Making it bigger or smaller can help you out. There's so many options, and that's why I like these killers so much, but Legion just... you can't use anything. It's all just mediocre. And the fact that you have to write off every single exposure perk in the game just neuters build diversity. It neuters a fun, interesting build for the character. And that's really what sucks about him. And it's pretty disappointing. So that's just something I wanted to get off my chest. Honestly, if mending was considered a healing action, this would make things a lot easier. And also, if he could do something with Expose, it would make it a lot better. But alas, he can do neither. So here we are. Oh well. Anyway, thank you for watching. I know it's kind of a rant, but I wanted to get through it. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Buffs, please. Bye-bye.